Hey there, folks. Karshel here. I am getting ready to start a new run. Slowly but surely, I have been getting enough episodes uploaded and in the queue that I'm starting to feel confident about getting some more frequent uploads going. And after watching Celestial Paladin do his Nobodies run and work with that, I decided, I ought to do one that is very similar. And he gave me permission to actually use his character name in a group, so he is going to be a part of my initial character creation with the Nobodies group, as well, of course, as using Karshel. So, let's kick this off, shall we? Hey there, folks. Karshel here. I'm just starting the Nobodies run. If you listen to my intro when I was talking about starting the game up, you understand why. It just seems appropriate. I'm ready for a little bit harder of a challenge. We're going to work on group composition. I have no idea where it's going to start me in the game world. That can become a problem if I have non-human races, but for the sake of balancing out, I think that it's important that I have a mix. I already have some thoughts in mind with this run of how I want to do things. So if there are people that have faction issues, it will just change what I have them doing, and maybe they won't have to interact quite as much as others. Okay. First character I'm going to make is, of course, Karshel. He's actually coming back after dying in the first one. So hopefully we're going to be going okay. Now, in games that I have played, Karshel is many different races, so I am not particularly set on anything. Frequently, he ends up being a bard or some type of archer. That's not really that great of an option here, so I think that I'm going to set him up as a Shek, simply because they have the ability to stand and fight a bit. Sheks can be somewhat problematic in some areas. If I get started in the Holy Nation, that's going to be kind of a pain in the butt. But so be it. Oh, let me see. Height, I like him big. As a tank, he's, having a strong appearance, an intimidating appearance, can make a bit of a difference. Leg length looks to be fine. Face, let's randomize. That'll work for me. Skin tone, I wanted to change to be a bit darker. I just kind of like that. And hair is irrelevant with them, so that's character 1. Now, with permission, Celestial Paladin said that I can bring him in as well. Hopefully my spelling is fine. To me, a Paladin is someone who is also capable of standing toe-to-toe. So they would almost be like a secondary tank, but I don't know that I need a secondary tank that is also a Shek. And when I think about the other good tank, because of their attack and their increased hit points, it comes down to a hive soldier. Now, I don't remember. Well, I think that they're not popular either when it comes to Holy Nation areas and that kind of thing. But I think that that's what I'm going to do, and hopefully Celestial Paladin is fine with being a member of the Hive. When he gave me permission, he did not specify what could or could not be acceptable. but that's what we're going to do. Yeah, some of those looks are just kind of ridiculous on these. Randomize. So it's just tweaking the head, but there's really not that many adjustments that it can make. Okay. Okay, so next character. I'm going to take a liberty on this one. And one of the first folks that commented on my videos was Victor Sanchez. So I'm going to be bringing Victor in as well. I'm going to have you as a human Victor, simply because with the farming, cooking, and science stats, I think that's going to be very useful. Although it is not my intent to jump into farming initially, eventually I'm sure that it's going to be relevant. Yeah, it could get rather interesting hair colors. But I'll keep it mellow. No clue what you either sound like or look like, Victor, but hey, that's almost like a rogues gallery of pictures, so I'm going to work with that. Okay, now we need to have a matched group. That'll work. Not human, though. A Scorched Lander has a lot of stealth, armor smithing, weaponsmithing. I plan to get in both of those, so that will enable me to skill up even faster. So we're going to be doing a Scorched Lander, I think just one. And for the 5th, first aid science boost. A mech has a robotics boost, heavy weapons boost, turrets boost. I'm not going to need those for quite a while. I like skeletons, I really do. But I don't think I'm going to need that. And those are the only 2 options for human. And I've already got a Scorched Lander. Maybe I am. Hive Prince, lockpicking. So eventually that could be useful. Dexterity, athletics, so as a runner could be skilling up faster. Stealth, thievery, first aid, science. Okay, we're going to do a Hive Prince. Dewlar is an old name I used to use in some MMOs. Nothing else is coming to mind, so hey, why not? Okay. That looks good enough for me. That gives us our 5 characters, so we're going to go ahead and roll with that. I think that that gives me a fairly good balance of abilities. Gives me the ability to have a couple of tanks which can stand toe-to-toe. Gives me the option to have cooking, farming, and a science boost, as well as athletics, stealth, armor smithing, weaponsmithing. So I think it's a good mix of characters. And where did we start? It looks like the hub. And it is the hub, an area that I am somewhat intimately familiar with. So, in doing some research, which is unavoidable for me, I've got to do that kind of thing, I think that Squin is actually a better place to start, especially since I have a Shek. As far as I know, they have no problem with hivers. They do have a problem with possibly stolen goods. It might be hemp. I've never actually checked that, but they like to check me when I come in the gates. It could be hemp that is causing the issue. And while I like the hub, And in one of my playthroughs, I actually bought this building. There are no other supplemental vendors that I can use, and that is limiting. Whereas in Squin, I have much better vendors available. So I think that my first step here is actually going to relocate to Squin. Because I have played enough of the game that I know there are mining nodes there, I know there are backpack vendors there, there are a couple of different bars as well as a couple of different shops. I just think that it is a better place to get started. Hobbs, hey. um, I'll come back and have a drink with you later, amigo. Now, I know the route, granted, for someone that's brand new to the game, they might not know this, but that's one of the reasons why I do the videos, so that you can get an idea of how to look at the game and your options available. So you notice I put the whole group in sneak mode. What that does is make it, of course, a little bit more difficult for people to detect us, and it slows down my movement speed, but as soon as I'm around anybody that potentially can see me, it starts to actually skill up the ability. It will come in very handy in the long run. Now, do I need to be in sneak mode to make this trip? Probably not, especially with basically nothing on me. Well, run speed still is low, but that might be because I'm in sneak mode. 14 miles an hour, probably most things I can outrun, so it's really not that critical. Once you start getting gear and are heavier, you're going to run slower, and at that point, avoiding being seen is sometimes far more important than it will be for this run. In fact, I'm not even going to bother to sneak for now, since I'm just primarily shifting location. Now, there are reasons that it's a good thing to run unencumbered like this. By doing so, you increase your athletics ability, which increases your run speed. There are also reasons to travel heavily encumbered, whereas it won't necessarily increase your athletics, but it does increase your strength, so that eventually you will be able to run better with more weight. Right now, my strength would be basically non-existent, as you can see pulling up Dewlar. But the more you do, the better that gets. Now, in the past, I have gotten jumped coming through areas like this, so I am going to go into sneak mode. And always keep an eye on what's approaching you and what's in the area. Now, what I just did was set this so that all of the members of the group stay together and they move at the slowest member's speed. Otherwise, if you're moving in a group without setting that, some of them can get farther and farther ahead of the rest of the group because the slow folks and the ones that are really overloaded can have problems keeping up. Now, for later use, when you see something like that, that's a copper node. When you hover over it and get the mining pick, you can click on it, and that will show you the details of that node. If you right-click it, it would assign people to start harvesting it. At the moment, since I'm still in transit, I am not going to do that. I'm going to kick the speed up a little bit since I'm not seeing any threats around the area. It's kind of handy to be able to have that option in game. If you had to always move in what's considered real time, it would take forever at times to transit from one area to another. Now down here, you can see a couple of towers. That is Squin. That's where we are heading to. So we'll soon know whether or not they have a problem with divers. I don't think that they do. Now, my folks are already hungry. What I'm going to be doing initially is coming out and mining and just going back into town and buying food. I've got a couple of bars here in Squin, so I should be able to keep myself supplied with that. I'm getting lucky. It doesn't look like there's any problems coming into town today. In the past, I have seen wandering bandits out through here, and right now they would just tear me apart. Although, all that would really do, provided that I lived and didn't lose any limbs, is increase my toughness, because I've got nothing that they can take. Because I started as a nobody. Okay, let's go, guys. And come off sneak. I'm not trying to hide anything. Death is nothing. Okay, well, they don't want to check me out. That's okay. I'm good with that. I have no cash, so I'm going to go into slow mode, still paused. Now, let me see. That's a weapons shop. That's an armor shop. This is general trades down here. We've got a bar there, a bar there. This is the prison. Don't ask me how I know. And we have that building which is available for sale at 19,000. We have this building which is available for sale at 19,000. This is a vendor. And this one which is available for sale for 7,200. Now, I don't think that it would take all that much to repair that, but this one, in my opinion, is a much better building because you've got a bar here, you've got a bar here, you've got vendors down on this end of town, so it's just a little bit more centralized. Now this one is 19,000. This one is only 72. I am perfectly fine with taking the time to do the repairs myself rather than buying one that's completely finished. Now, are they the same type of building? Residential type is a longhouse. Time in Squin. This is a longhouse as well. So I think that they would be exactly the same. And it looks to me like there's plenty of room in there to build a research bench, and that's going to be critical for what I want to do. So probably I'm going to buy this one. Okay, so I need to get 72 in addition to getting money enough to buy some food supplies. Now I'm looking around town here. And do I want... Since the only option, or the only goal at this point in time is to make some money, I am looking for copper nodes that are close to the city entrances. I'm not seeing anything on that side of town. Now, it matters that it's close to the city entrance for the sake of if I have to run to the guards, I would just as soon not have it be any further a trip than it needs to be. Okay, that I think is iron. It is, but that's not all that far. I got nothing showing up out of there. What about over here? Okay. I hadn't checked those areas, so I was curious about it. Normally, when I have been playing, I work that node right there. It's iron, not copper, and that's not worth as much. But as you can see, it's a pretty short run to the gates. Now this one isn't bad either. Oh, wait a minute, what's that? Small copper. Workable by 1. Any other ones out here that I missed? Because I thought I had looked at those. I think I'm just going to work my normal iron mode that I have done. Although I could put 3 on that and 1 on the copper and be that close to the gate. Or if I had to, run to that gate if something was coming from that direction. That might be better because it gives me options. And nothing could approach. Well, no, this might be an approach. Well, might not be either. This might be a better side. I've never worked over there, but we'll find out. I think that that's going to be my next step. So at the start of the next video, I am going to run over there and do some mining and start to build up cash so that I can buy this building right there. But we're going to end this video at this point. Thank you for watching. I'm glad you're joining me for the new run of a Nobodies group, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Feel free to comment, like, share, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.